Hello, hello. How's it going? It is Wednesday. It's the start of August. It's a new chapter. So I welcome you onto this live show. If you are catching it live, say hello in the comments. I'd love to know that you are tuning in. And if you are catching the replay, just let me know in the comments as well that you're catching the replay. We are using StreamYard, so if you want to take part in the conversation, please grant them permission to view your comments. Then I can see them in real time and answer your questions right on the spot, which makes it a lot more interactive. So again, my name is Melanie Richmond. I am your executive well-being coach with True North Wellbeing Coaching, and I'm really happy about today's discussion because most of us are really busy, high-profile workers, and we can often have a really busy, cluttered mind. And this happens to me. It happens to all of us. And one of my superpowers, so my zone of genius, is I'm an expert at being mindful. And my husband actually gave me one of the biggest compliments ever. He said, "You have some of the best mental strength I've ever seen and mindfulness strength I've ever seen in a person." And I said, "How do you know that? Like, I practice yoga, that I do my things, but how can you validate that?" He's like, "Well, I watched you give birth. I watched you give birth at home and have, all of the resistance, all of the pain, the struggles come through you. And I was able to cause some separation between the two and stay embodied within my center." So today we're not talking about childbirth. Don't worry, you're in the clear. We're talking about mindful. So what is a mindful versus being mindful? So if you have a mind that is full, you're often working from a place of overwhelm. You're typically not your best self. You're going from one thing to the next. You're multitasking. So you're really in the future. You're always thinking of what's next, what's next, what's next. You're kind of like that rabbit that's just like go, 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 running from one thing to the next. Whereas if you're being mindful, you're in the now. So you're now focused. You're really present in watching me speak in this video right now because you're being mindful. You don't have all of the rest of your computer tabs open, writing an email on the side. You're being fully present in this video and my discussion. So that is being mindful. And if you have something else on the go, that's fine. You could be out for a walk and watching this video or watching this replay. I'm just commenting on being mindful is really being in the moment and not having any other distractions. So why is it important to be mindful instead of having a mind that's full of garbage, full of clutter? Well, the first thing is it's messy, it's overwhelming, it's unproductive to have a mind that's full. So as somebody that's a high achiever like yourself, you want to come and show up in your life, in your work as your best self. And in order to do that, you need to declutter. And last week, we talked about rest and how important it was to reset. So this is kind of a stepping stone from last week, is after you've had the chance to rest and recoup, bringing your attention, becoming aware of where your laser focused is on, is really where you're going to start to see some massive leaps. So I'll start with a story. I think all of us have had a crappy manager at some point in our career. We've had somebody that was in a leadership role and they were so busy. They were so busy that they never gave you the time of day to actually connect with you, to see what was going on, to make sure that you were well supported, because they were running from one thing to the next and they always seemed to have something more important to do. And as an employee to a manager like that, you don't feel very supported, you don't feel very committed, and it's harder for you to grow and be productive because you might have a question for them and you need that support in order to keep going. So that manager would have had a mind that was very full. They had all of their responsibilities and they felt an overwhelm because they couldn't juggle it all. They wanted to help their employees. They had the best intention, but they're dealing with a fire over here, a fire over there. Everybody's trying to grab their attention. And I think most of us in the corporate world have felt that way. We're like, everybody's trying to get a piece of me. I can't be in 20 places at once. I can't deliver everything at once. And you've had to really take a step back. So when we have a suitcase that's full of garbage, the best thing you can do is keep it to yourself. Because if you let that suitcase spill open and then everybody else is seeing that garbage, guess what? They're not going to want to work with you. You're not going to get that next career promotion. So the best thing you can do is take that messy suitcase home and lay it all out. So lay out everything that you have in there, all your to-dos. It could be work, personal, financial, spiritual, relationship-based, everything that's on your mind. Think of absolutely everything and just list it all out. That's one way that you can reframe, reorganize your thoughts so that when they're written on paper, you're actually using a very good technique to take them out of your mind. Writing them on paper is the simplest solution I can give you. So I'll say that again. Let's say you have a really busy, you're overwhelmed with a bunch of project work. The simplest thing you can do is stop. Everything that's on your mind right now, write it down. Doesn't matter how you write it down, just write down absolutely everything that's affecting you, your to-do list, or things that are impacting your well-being, or things that you'd like to be doing. Write it all out. And then you can categorize them. You can say, okay, this is my work task. This is my relationships. This is my health items that I want to work on. And you can give them a priority. And that's where the CEO schedule comes in. And we can talk about that on another live. And I've already briefly touched on it. But basically, you're the driver behind everything you do. And I've seen this a lot in early stages in people's career. They just want to be productive and do. And they don't take that step back to reassess and reset and say, hey, what are the most important things that I need to be focusing on? Because that's where the simplification comes in. And then you get laser focused on what's important, what I actually need to be doing, what can I drop, or what can somebody else do for me? Because you don't have to do it all in order to have it all. You do not need to do it all in order to have it all. For example, I have a real estate business. I have a coaching business and I work. In order for me to do all of those things, I need to outsource. I need to have virtual help. I need to have systems in place that help me with automation, task reminders of when leases are due, different things like that. And those systems help me, stay above the weeds. Because as the CEO, you don't want to be in the weeds. You're never going to get ahead if you're in the weeds. You're going to be not seeing past the horizon. And it's funny because my husband and I are big golfers. And I do a lot of mindfulness training. And somehow my husband always, catches up to me in terms of the trainings, but he learns in a different way. And he's been really big into golf and improving his game. So he was watching YouTube videos on how to become a better golfer. And a simple trick that they gave them, apart from, the putting drills and whatever else, like the statistics of how often you should be on the fairway versus the rough, it was on when you're walking on the course. Because most golfers that, do it for a long while, they're not just drinking on the cart, they're walking the course. And it says to not look at the ground. Because when you look at the ground, you're not looking at the horizon and your possibility and your potential. So those simple tricks are so powerful in changing that mindset. So if you feel like you have so much weight on your shoulder, you probably do, because you're probably taking on too much and your mind is overfull, it's overflowing, and everybody around you can tell because you are being short with them. You might not be as nice, and you're coming from a place of overwhelm. So one reason why people have a hard time moving from a place of overwhelm, of doing it all, is because they want control. So the biggest reason people have a mind that is full is because they want the control. They want to make sure that that task is going to be done how they want it, in their way, on their schedule. And, if you're a single business owner, that might be the case, that you have to do all of those tasks. But eventually, as you bring revenue, you are building your team. And same thing within an organization. As you bring in more business into your group, you don't want to be doing all the work. You want to be offloading to people that have the opportunity to learn and to grow so that you can grow with them. So the control is something that you need to let go of and be there to support them, because they might do it better or they might do it worse, and you just need to work on training them. Or if they're not the right fit, you pivot. But the only way for you to grow in business and grow in life is to let go of that control and work with what life throws at you and pivot as you need to. So I'm not saying, hey, give it all away and forget about it. I'm saying offer what you can offload off your plate so that you can have an elevated view above the weeds and monitor what's happening in the weeds. Monitor, is the quality there? Are we meeting deadlines? Are we going after our strategy? Are we meeting our financial goals? So those are huge. So who would have thought that having a mindful could be such a big distraction from really projecting yourself forth in your business and in your life? And beyond the control, there's also another reason that people are stuck in this mindful state of beings, is because they're unaware of it. Their entire life, they've always been busy. They've always been comfortable doing. And that might be you. I grew up in a family that is a family of doers. We love to be productive. And I will look at my dad. I love my dad so much, but he always has this like 3 or 4 to-do lists, and they're just like never ending. And I know we all have a to-do list, but the thing is that it is really important to do the thing, but not also be thinking about all the rest of the things you need to be doing. So just be present in that one task, that one moment. And that's where the mindfulness comes in. So then you can really enjoy the task versus feeling like you have so much more to do. The other reason people get stuck in having a mind full is doubt. So they're doubtful that, things are going to get done, that things are going to move forward. But the biggest one is being unaware. So bringing that awareness back. And that's why at True North, alignment is our key value. Being in alignment with what you truly desire and bringing that awareness, that self-awareness piece of what you value into everything that you do, every decision you make. So the alignment piece is what's going to allow you to live a joyful life. And the last reason that somebody might want to stay stuck in having a mind full is they don't have the strategies to be mindful. And we'll go over that a little bit here. So I just wanted to go over, hey, that cluttered brain that's overflowing, that suitcase. What can we do about it? Why is it important to deal with it? And what are some strategies? Okay, So let's move on to being mindful. So what does that mean? I talked about being in the now state, so being fully present. And I'll start off with a little story. My husband and I, the night before our wedding, we stayed at the Fairmont. So it's a nice hotel in my hometown. And we were sitting at the bar in this beautiful hotel. And there was a couple beside us that had been married for 15 years or so. And they were really excited that it was the night before our wedding. And so they suggested that, we try this one drink because they had been there before and whatnot. So I tried the lemon drop martini they suggested, and my husband had the other drink that he suggested, and they were wonderful. But they gave us one piece of advice that day that made our wedding day just so incredible and unforgettable. They said, be present in every moment. And the day before the wedding, I was in a mindful stage where I was thinking of all the things that had to happen the day of the wedding, all the prep work that we were doing the night before. And I was in a state of overwhelm and I was very anxious and whatnot. But that one sentence of, this day is going to be so important and special, and you're going to want to take it all in and be mindful, made such a big impact on our day because we were present with everyone, every moment. We were able to take it in and fully feel that feeling. And I've talked to so many people that say like, oh, my wedding day went by like a snap of a finger. And I can't say that because I was so present in every moment that I felt I was going through the day in slow-mo. It was so powerful, and everybody could see the joy in our faces and how thankful, grateful we were to be in that present moment with our loved ones. So how do we take that back, being mindful in the workplace? Well, you have to be intentional. You have to know, you have to be self-aware that, hey, I'm being in the future, I'm being anxious, or hey, I'm living in the past and the mistake I made. And in reality, you can't change either of those. You can't change what happened in the past, that client that you pissed off or that budget that you overran. And you can't be in the future because you don't know if you're going to get that work. And if you come, let's say you have an interview for a project that you really want that would make a huge difference to your organization, to the shareholders. And if you come into that interview being desperate that you want the work, that energy shows up and people can sense it. If you come into that interview saying, I'm here to serve, I think we could do a really good job working with you and we could fill that need and more, they're going to be like, hey, this person is ultra confident in who they are, what they have to offer, and they seem like a great fit for us versus you trying to sell your proposal, you trying to sell your services. If you believe in what you offer, that goes a lot longer, a lot further in business than anything else. People buy you. I know it sounds weird, but people invest in people in business. They do not invest in the products or services you offer. Yes, that's a byproduct, but they want to work with the people first. So being mindful, being self-aware, aware of the room, it's so important in getting the work, getting your promotions, and moving on. The other big item, and I see this a lot, I am very mindful of leaving my work desk very clean at the end of every day because I know that if you have a messy desk, that subconsciously is going to affect your mind. So declutter, create the space so that you can be fully present. Because let's say you have, a Kleenex off to the side of your desk, a half-eaten piece of toast, and a pile of bills that you haven't dealt with, and you're trying to write an email to a client regarding, a proposal. You'll have that distraction on the side saying, holy, I have all these invoices to deal with, or holy, I haven't eaten all day, or oh my God, this space is messy. Like those thoughts are going to come in subconsciously into your mind and going to add clutter. So if you can declutter the space, it declutters the mind. And it's proven in scientific data. So try it yourself. See if you can commit to decluttering your desk at the end of every workday, so that in the morning when you come to your desk, it's fresh, it's clean, and you're ready to take on that day. Regular check-ins. So throughout the workday, how often do you just step away from your desk and take a deep breath in? Or look outside, get some sunshine, grab a glass of water and just drink the water. And I see this often. Like I think of smokers as people that used to take really these mindful moments. They would step outside, they would smoke, and they would talk with others. And I'm not encouraging anybody to smoke here, but that's how it used to be. But nowadays you look at smokers outside and this is what they're doing. They're like just right on their phone, like smoking. Whereas similarly, like if you are taking a check-in to say, hey, am I being present? Being on your phone might not be the case, because that's a distraction. So can you allow yourself to stare out at the kitchen, stare out at the sky, and allow your mind to be fully present? Be aware of the birds, be aware of the traffic outside. Be aware of who's in the office with you today. Maybe even do a little walk around. Say hello. How's it going? Steal a snack from a coworker. We all have those good friends out there. Take a sip of tea. There you go. And then the last one I want to say is to take deep breaths. So in life, if you want to live longer, the simple trick I can tell you is you have to breathe slower. If you look at a mice, they breathe really fast, or a rabbit, they breathe really fast, and they don't live very long. Whereas if you look at a turtle breathes extremely slow and can live over 100 years old, 200 even. So breathing is a really good way for you to be more mindful in the moment, and slowing down your breath will help you with that, because it's going to switch your nervous system from a fight, flight, or flight to your parasympathetic. So other things you can do if you struggle with self-discipline or, being intentional within yourself is using apps. You can have apps that give you mindful moments. I love the Calm app. They have a mindful meditation every morning or evening. And using those apps to actually go through a meditation and being mindful, it kind of gives you that reset. So similarly to clearing your desk at the end of the day, meditating is similar to clearing your mind. So you're physically, opening it up for possibilities for the day. And it improves your mental health. I know mental health has been huge out there right now. There's so many people struggling with mental health that are taking antidepressants, anti-anxiety medication, because the world has become so fast with so many distractions. And we need people to feel supported and to have the tricks and techniques to be more mindful and to create some boundaries around the distractions. It would decrease your stress levels and also improve your sleep quality. So who wouldn't want all those things? And the best part yet is you get to enjoy being in the moment. You're going to be calm. People are going to be more attracted to you. And you're going to be able to smell the roses. It's actually true, because if you're living in the future, you're just dreaming of those roses. Or you're thinking about how the roses are going to die because you're going to forget to water them. So write in your calendar, I'm going to water my plants at 8 p.m. every night so that you're not eating up that mental load. And I do this all the time. Our garbage day is on Tuesday morning, and we have an alarm. My husband and I have an alarm in our phone on Monday at 8 p.m. Put out the garbage, because I don't want to carry that mental load. It's in my phone. Might as well use technology. All right, so some of the strategies, like I mentioned, putting in your calendar, writing it down. If you are noticing that you're, projecting into the future, stop. Be mindful with who you're talking to. Get aware of what's going on with them. Ask them questions instead of being in that kind of mental chatter zone. And again, I mentioned the brain dump. So if there's lots on your mind, dump it down, sort it out, simplify it, and then move on. Okay, so it might be easier said than done, and it is. It's a lot easier to say it than to do it and to be consistent with it. So that's where coaching comes in. That's where having an accountability partner. Coaching provides that accountability. So actually checking in on what you're doing or what you're saying and what you're actually doing, and if you're being consistent with it, because the more consistent we are with it, with those small incremental steps, then we can actually reach our goals. And I'm not talking about goals in the sense that, hey, we checked it off the list. It's like, no, these are meaningful goals to me. That is creating my dream life. And that is pretty powerful. So if you feel the need to have an accountability partner, I want to invite you to a workshop that we're going to be running on the 29th of August. It's going to be a 90-minute workshop, and I'll be going over what we offer in our 2-month program, which is all about being intentional in how you live, how you are in the moment by being present, self-aware, and defining your true desires, your true values in life of what you want. So it's creating a map that's aligning with your inner compass, your inner heart of what you really want. And it's going to bring you so much joy because you're actually going to be putting energy towards something that is a deep desire within and coming up with simplified steps to get you there in just 2 months. So you're going to want to come to the workshop. It's totally free, and you're going to have an opportunity to dive deeper into that. And you also get a complimentary strategy session with myself to look at your roadmap and your goals. Okay, so I wish you all a wonderful week. Thanks for staying with me this whole time. And again, if you want to touch base before then, just send me a quick note and we can get on a connect call. I'm happy to serve and to be present with you. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye-bye.